Good morning, ma. In previous class, we have seen what about the process of absorption, and what is the mechanism of absorption by using thermodynamics formula, that is delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Everything we have seen in previous class. Okay. Now in this today's class, we will see next concept, next side heading, that is types of adsorption. There are two types of adsorption, ma. Those two are physisorption and chemisorption. There are two types of adsorption: physical adsorption and chemical adsorption. Physical adsorption and chemical adsorption. Physical adsorption is simply called as physisorption. Chemical adsorption is called chemisorption. Okay, now let us see what about the characteristics of these physical adsorption and chemical adsorption. Before going to this one small para I will read. Another important factor featuring adsorption is the heat of adsorption. During adsorption, there is always a decrease in residual forces of the surface, that is, there is decrease in surface energy, which appears as heat. Adsorption, therefore, is invariably an exothermic process. In other words, delta H of adsorption is always negative. When a gas is adsorbed, the freedom of movement of its molecules become restricted. When a gas is adsorbed, their freedom is going to be restricted. That means disorderness decreases. Then delta S is negative. Adsorption is thus accompanied by decrease in enthalpy as well as decrease in entropy of the system. For a process to be spontaneous, the thermodynamic requirement is that at constant temperature and pressure, delta H must be negative. That is, there is a decrease in Gibbs free energy. On the basis of equation delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S, delta G can be negative if delta H has sufficiently high negative value as minus T delta S is positive. Thus, in adsorption process, which is spontaneous, a combination of these two factors makes delta G negative. As the adsorption proceeds, delta H becomes less negative. Ultimately, delta H becomes equal to T delta S and delta G becomes 0. As that state, equilibrium is attained. Okay, that is about explanation. Now, types of adsorption. There are mainly two types of adsorption of gas and solids. If accumulation of gas on the surface of a solid occurs on account of weak van der Waals forces, the adsorption is termed as physical adsorption or physisorption. When the gas molecules or atoms are held to the solid surface by chemical bonds, the adsorption is termed chemical adsorption or chemisorption. Okay, the chemical bonds may be covalent or ionic in nature. Chemisorption involves a high energy of activation. Chemisorption involves a high energy of activation and is therefore often referred to as activated adsorption. Generally, chemical reaction to be happened, the process requires high activation energy, means the amount of energy required to cross the energy barrier to undergo reaction. Okay. Sometimes these two processes occur simultaneously and it is not easy to ascertain the type of adsorption. A physical adsorption at low temperature may pass into, generally physical adsorption at low temperature. Continuously if you heat the temperature, that high temperature might be reaction condition for chemical reaction. Then it will be converted to chemisorption. That means physical change might be converted to chemical change. At that time physisorption can be converted to chemisorption. Okay, as the temperature is increased. For example, dihydrogen is first adsorbed on nickel by van der Waals forces only. Molecules of hydrogen then dissociate to form hydrogen atoms which are held on the surface by chemisorption. Initially, hydrogen gas will be adsorbed onto nickel or any metal catalyst, okay, by process of van der Waals forces only. But after some time, when temperature is getting increased, it will become chemical forces and this hydrogen gas is dissociated into hydrogen atoms. Then chemisorption will be happened. Like that, at low temperature, physisorption might be converted to high temperature chemisorption. Okay. Now, characteristics of physisorption and characteristics of chemisorption they give. Finally, they give the difference also. Okay, directly first we will go through the difference, ma. After that we will see these paras. Okay, let us see. Physics option, first point. It arises because of van der Waals forces. This physics option is because of van der Waals forces. What about chemis option? It is caused by chemical bond formation. This is because of chemical bond formation. Second one. It is not specific in nature. This is specific in nature. What is this not specific and specific? If you take hydrogen gas, suppose if it is physical adsorption, any gas can be adsorbed onto any solid. Any gas can be adsorbed onto any solid. There is no specificity. That means I am fixed to only one metal only. Like that, no gas will think. That is physics option. That is because of van der Waals forces only. That van der Waals forces will be present between any gas and any solid. That's why no specific nature. Any gas can be adsorbed onto any solid. But here chemis option. To undergo chemical reaction, definitely there must be attraction between that gas molecules and catalyst, that solid surface. Okay? According to that, H2 must be adsorbed, or chemis option it should be taken place on generally 3 metals we will say. Nickel, palladium and platinum. Other than that, any catalyst any metal surface we will not show that one. That means that hydrogen gas is, if it undergoes chemis option, it is specific to only 3 metals. Like that, it is highly specific in nature. This is not specific in nature. I hope you understood. Okay. Third point. Physics option, it is reversible in nature. It is irreversible. By seeing the point itself, you might have understood. Here we have van der Waals forces, so easily we can convert that gas which is adsorbed onto solid again into gas. But chemis option, at once it takes chemical bonds, easily the bonds will not be broken. That's why it is irreversible. So physics option, it is reversible in nature. Chemis option, it is irreversible. Because in chemis option, which type of bonds are involved? Chemical bonds. In physics option, only van der Waals forces are present. Because of that. Next, fourth one. It depends on the nature of gas. More easily liquefiable gases are adsorbed readily. It depends on the nature of gas. More easily liquefiable gases are adsorbed readily. What is the meaning of more easily liquefiable gases? Okay. The gases which have high attractions between the molecules. The gases which have high attractions between the molecules, they can be liquefied easily. We can make them to be coming nearer by each other and we can convert them into liquids easily. Because they have high attractions. What is the reason they have high attractions? Naturally, because of some dipole forces like that, they have high attractions. When they have high attractions, when they are able to be liquefied easily, same way they have attractions towards the solid also highly. Then they can be adsorbed onto the solid surface easily. Okay, now again I am reading the point. It depends on the nature of the gas. Physics option depends on the nature of gas. Physics option depends on nature of gas. Why? Easily liquefiable gases can be adsorbed easily. Easily liquefiable gases can be adsorbed easily, like NH3. Okay, it can be liquefied easily. Depends on nature of gas. Physics option depends on nature of gas. Is it okay, ma'am? Next. It also depends on the nature of gas. Fourth one. It also depends on nature of gas. Gases which can react with the adsorbent, show chemis option. Okay, that is depending on nature of gas. Even physics option also depending on nature of gas. Actually, the heading is not differences, man. Comparison of physisorption and chemisorption. That means these are the characteristics of physisorption, these are the characteristics of chemisorption. There might be similarities also. This is not the heading of difference. Okay, now next one, fifth one. Enthalpy of adsorption is low. Why? Enthalpy means liberation of heat energy is less because of van der Waals forces. It is in the range of only 20 to 40 kilojoules per mole. But here it is high. Enthalpy of adsorption is high, 80 to 240 kilojoules per mole. Why? Here chemical bonds are involved. Here only van der Waals forces are involved. Less amount of energy. Weak attractions, less amount of energy. Strong attractions, high amount of energy. Next, sixth one. Low temperature is favorable for adsorption. It decreases with increase of temperature. When we increase the temperature, the 2 or 3 surfaces, if they have, that 3 or 4 surfaces or second surface, it will be gone out. Okay, at the same time, this physisorption is preferred at low temperature, because at high temperature there might be conversion of physisorption into chemisorption. So this is happened at low temperature. This is happened at low temperature, and physisorption will be decreased with increase of temperature, because when we increase the temperature by absorbing the heat energy, the surface molecules not exactly attached to surface, third layer, second layer are there, they can be converted to gaseous state because of absorption of heat energy. Okay, low temperature. Next, high temperature is favorable for adsorption. It increases with increase of temperature, because chemisorption, chemical bonds will be happening at high temperatures generally. So favorable condition here, high temperature. Next, no appreciable activation energy is needed, because it is simple with van der Waals forces only, na? It is not required with any activation energy. No activation energy is required. No activation energy is required. Here, activation energy is required, because here reaction must be happened. Next, no appreciable activation. Okay, eighth one. It depends on the surface area. It increases with an increase in surface area. This one depends on surface area. It increases with increase in surface area. When surface area is increased, all the particles are in contact with air, so they can absorb more. So adsorption, immediately we have to understand that it is increased with increase in surface area. Adsorption increases with increase in surface area. Okay, man. Next, even chemisorption also, it also depends on the surface area. It too increases with an increase in surface area. Same. It results into multimolecular layers on adsorbent surface under high pressure. Actually, physisorption previously I have shown. This is solid surface, na? After adsorption of one layer, again second layer also might be possible, because these are all van der Waals forces. So, because of van der Waals forces, another layer can be adsorbed. Even third layer also can be adsorbed onto second layer. But chemisorption means there must be chemical bonds between gas and solid. There must be chemical bonds between gas and solid. So only one layer is possible, because after this layer, second layer is not in contact with solid surface. So they cannot form chemical bonds with solid surface. Correct? So chemisorption is unilayer. This is multimolecular layer. That one I am going to see. Ninth point. It results into multimolecular layers on adsorbent surface under high pressure. It results into unimolecular layer. Chemisorption is unimolecular layer. Physisorption is multimolecular layer. These are the 7 comparisons between physisorption and chemisorption. Okay, man. First point. Physisorption is happened because of which forces? Van der Waals forces. Chemisorption, it is because of chemical bonds. Second one. Physisorption is not specific in nature, but chemisorption is specific in nature. Third one, it is reversible in nature. Physisorption is reversible, chemisorption is irreversible. Fourth point, depends on nature of gas. Easily liquefiable gas can be adsorbed easily. Even fourth point of chemisorption also same, depends on nature of gas. The gas which is undergoing reaction with adsorbent, it will only involve in reaction and it will be adsorbed onto surface easily. Okay. Next, enthalpy of adsorption is low under physisorption because it is because of van der Waals forces. If weak forces are there, automatically energy released also will be weak, 20 to 40 kilojoules only, but under chemisorption 80 to 240 kilojoules per mole energy is released because it is involved in chemical bond, that's why. Physisorption is suitable at low temperature. When we increase the temperature, physisorption decreases. Chemisorption is suitable at high temperature. Chemisorption increases with increase in temperature. Chemisorption increases with increase in temperature. Seventh one, no activation energy is required for physisorption. Chemisorption, activation energy is required. Okay, next, eighth point, it depends on the surface area. Physisorption depends on surface area, it increases with increase in surface area. Even chemisorption also depends on surface area, increases with increase in surface area. Okay, the surface area concept, even in our homes also we can use. Directly we will not keep tomatoes or brinjals or any other vegetables into the curry directly without cutting. We will cut them and we will make them curry, because if you cut them inside also it will be in contact with that gravy, then it will be boiled and nicely the curry will be prepared. Otherwise inside boiling will not be happen, only surface will be in contact with the gravy. Okay na? That like that we can use in general days also. Final point, physisorption results into multimolecular layers, that I have drawn the diagram. Chemisorption results into unimolecular layer. Okay, this is about comparison between physisorption and chemisorption. Now they gave same comparisons only in terms of points. Once I will read them and we will go through next concept in adsorption only. Okay, let us see. Characteristics of physisorption. Lack of specificity. Specificity is not there. A given surface of an adsorbent does not show any preference for a particular gas, as the van der Waals forces are universal. Van der Waals forces are present universal. That's why any gas can be adsorbed onto any solid. Now I am talking about physisorption only. Okay, next, second one. Nature of adsorbate. The amount of gas adsorbed by a solid depends on the nature of gas. In general, easily liquefiable gases are readily adsorbed. Easily liquefiable gases are readily adsorbed as van der Waals forces are stronger. Okay, that critical temperatures they give me, that is the point related to gas state. Okay, that one I will explain at the end of this class. Means after completion of this comparison I will explain. Let us see. Thus, 1 gram of activated charcoal adsorbs more sulfur dioxide than methane. Okay, let us see the critical temperature here. Critical temperature, simple definition, that is the temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. Once read the definition. Definition is simple only. The temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. Okay, let us consider any two gases A and B. Okay, critical temperature is represented by Tc. Critical temperature of A is equal to 300 Kelvin. Critical temperature of B is equal to 1000 Kelvin. What is the definition? Once again read ma. The temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. The temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. Okay. So here we are talking about liquefaction of gas only. To liquefy the gas A, into liquid, what is the temperature required? Below 300 Kelvin. Above 300 Kelvin it is not possible to liquefy gas A, because critical temperature it will decide the temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. Above this temperature gas cannot be liquefied. Okay, so below of the temperature only we have to see that, or we have to maintain the temperature below 300 Kelvin to liquefy the gas. Next, coming to gas B. B must be converted to liquid B. For that, what is the temperature required? Above 1000 it is not possible, below 1000. Then below 1000 easily we can maintain. So many possibilities are there for this one, because 500 Kelvin, 600 Kelvin, whatever it is, at any temperature it can be liquefied. But here probability is decreased. Below 300, out of comparison between A and B only I am talking about one. I am talking about A gas and B gas only. Which gas has high probability to be converted to liquid state? Which has high critical temperature. So the gas which has high critical temperature can be liquefied easily. The gas which has high critical temperature can be liquefied easily, because even at 500, what is the room temperature? Suppose room temperature 25 degrees centigrade. 25 plus 273, 298. Okay, room temperature, below room temperature only we have to maintain to liquefy gas into liquid A, correct? But above this room temperature also it is possible to convert that liquid B, gas B into liquid, which is highly liquefiable gases out of A and B. B is the highly liquefiable gas, because more possibility is there for B to be converted to liquid. Is it correct or not? So I am going to write one point. Gas with high critical temperature. Gas with high critical temperature can be liquefied easily. Gas with high critical temperature can be liquefied easily. This is the explanation regarding critical temperature. Now what is the definition once again? The temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. The temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. That is called critical temperature. The temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied, that is called critical temperature. I gave two examples, A and gas B. Gas A and gas B. Gas A has lower critical temperature when compared to gas B. Okay. So out of these two, which can be liquefied easily? Gas B. Because gas with high critical temperature can be liquefied easily. Now I will read the point now. See all of you. In general, easily liquefiable gases, in bracket they mentioned with higher critical temperature. With higher critical temperature they can be liquefied easily. So in the textbook only they have given us see once. In general, easily liquefiable gases, that is with high critical temperature, are readily adsorbed, as van der Waals forces are stronger near the critical temperature. Near the critical temperature, van der Waals forces are stronger. Okay, next. Thus, 1 gram of activated charcoal adsorbs 1 gram of activated charcoal adsorbs more sulfur dioxide, SO2. High means more sulfur dioxide. What is the critical temperature of SO2? Critical temperature of SO2 is 630 Kelvin. Next, another gas they give, CH4. Methane gas. critical temperature 190 Kelvin. Critical temperature 190 Kelvin, less. Not only this one, man. Simply observe the gases SO2 and CH4. In SO2, we have electronegative difference between sulfur and oxygen. So it has dipole-dipole forces. Dipole-dipole forces are stronger. Correct or not? So attraction will be strong. It can be liquefied easily. It can be converted to liquid because if attractions are stronger, the gas can be liquefied easily. In CH4, there is no much difference, electronegative difference between carbon and hydrogen. So it is completely non-polar. Between non-polar molecule and non-polar CH4 molecule, which type of force will be present? Van der Waals force. Van der Waals force means weaker force. It cannot be liquefied easily. Like that also we can observe the logic. Okay, see which critical temperature will be high? SO2. SO2 critical temperature is 630 Kelvin. CH4 critical temperature is 190 Kelvin. So 1 gram of activated charcoal will absorb more SO2 when compared to CH4. When compared to CH4, more SO2 will be liquefied, absorbed. Because highly liquefiable gases can be absorbed easily because of attractions will be strong. That is the thing. This is nature of adsorbate. Adsorbate is nothing but gas, ma. Okay, next point. Reversible nature. Physical adsorption of a gas by a solid is generally reversible, that easily it can be converted to back. More of gas is adsorbed when pressure is increased as the volume of the gas decreases. When highly pressure is applied, more gas molecules will be adsorbed. That is Le Chatelet principle. Okay. Since the adsorption process is exothermic, the physical adsorption occurs readily at low temperature and decreases with increasing temperature. Surface area of adsorbent. The extent of adsorption increases with the increase of surface area of the adsorbent. Thus, finely divided metals and porous substances having large surface area are good adsorbents. Okay, next, enthalpy of adsorption. No doubt, physical adsorption is an exothermic process, but its enthalpy of adsorption is quite low, 20 to 40 kilojoules per mole. This is because the attraction between gas molecules and solid surface is only due to weak Van der Waals forces. Next, characteristics of chemisorption. High specificity. Chemisorption is highly specific and it will only occur if there is some possibility of chemical bonding between adsorbent and adsorbate. For example, oxygen is adsorbed on metals by virtue of oxide formation and hydrogen is adsorbed by transition metals due to hydrate formation. Okay? Irreversibility. As chemisorption involves compound formation, it is usually irreversible in nature. Chemisorption is also an exothermic process, but the process is very slow at low temperature on account of high energy of activation. Generally, chemical reactions are possible with high amount of activation energy. So at low temperatures, it will be slow. When we increase the temperature, chemisorption increases. Like most chemical changes, adsorption often increases with rise of temperature. Physisorption of a gas adsorbed at low temperature may change into chemisorption at a high temperature. Okay? Usually, high pressure is also favorable for chemisorption. Surface area. Like physical adsorption, chemisorption also increases with increase of surface area of the adsorbent. Next, enthalpy of adsorption. Enthalpy of chemisorption is high as it involves chemical bond formation. This is about comparison between chemisorption and physisorption. Okay, ma? Next two topics we have adsorption isotherms, adsorption from solution phase. Like that we have ma. Even applications of adsorption we have. Okay. In your reducer portion, catalysis topic is not there in surface chemistry. So first we have adsorption. After that adsorption, catalysis fully it was removed. Okay. After catalysis, next we have colloids. So we have adsorption, next colloids. After colloids, only two topics in surface chemistry. In surface chemistry, we have only two topics. Those are adsorption, colloids. Okay. Under adsorption, again further classification of physical adsorption, chemical adsorption, comparison between physisorption and chemisorption. Like the topic wise we have. Okay. So now we are going to see adsorption only. In today's class, we have seen the comparison between physisorption and chemisorption completed. Next topic we have, next side heading, that is adsorption isotherms. Okay, let us see that one. What is meant by isotherm? These are the graphs drawn at constant temperature. Isotherm is nothing but a graph which is drawn at constant temperature. That is a graph which is drawn at constant temperature. Iso, same. Therm means temperature. Okay. So isotherm is the graph drawn at constant temperature. So if you see this type of curves, these are all done at constant temperature only. Okay. Now let us see. First, the variation in the amount of gas adsorbed by the adsorbent with pressure at constant temperature. Okay, what is the variation of amount of gas adsorbed with pressure at constant temperature? We are going to draw one graph. Can be expressed by means of a curve. Curve means graph termed as adsorption isotherm. As isotherm means the graph which is drawn at constant temperature. Okay, Freundlich adsorption isotherm. Freundlich in 1909 gave an empirical relation between the quantity of gas adsorbed by unit mass of solid substance, solid adsorbent, and pressure at a particular temperature. The relation can be expressed by the following equation: x by m is equal to k into p power 1 by n, where n is greater than 1. If n is greater than 1, then only the equation will be satisfied. Okay, x by m is equal to k into p power 1 by n. X by m is equal to amount of gas adsorbed per unit mass of adsorbent. See, x amount of gas adsorbed on m grams of solid, that means adsorbent. Then how much amount of gas will be adsorbed on 1 gram of solid? Then it will be x into 1 divided by m. X by m. This is the amount of solid adsorbed on 1 gram of solid. This gas. This is the amount of gas adsorbed on 1 gram of solid. This adsorbent is nothing but solid. So x by m is equal to amount of gas adsorbed per unit mass of adsorbent. K is equal to constant and P is equal to pressure. K is equal to constant and P is equal to pressure. Okay, now let us see the continuation. Apply logarithms on both sides. Log x by m is equal to logarithm of k into p power 1 by n. This is in the form of log AB. Log A into B is equal to log A plus log B. Log K plus log P power 1 by n is equal to log x by m. This implies log x by m is equal to log K plus this 1 by n will be coming here, 1 by n into log P. Log x by m is equal to log K plus 1 by n into log P. Okay, ma? This is the equation, 1 minute, where x is the mass of the gas adsorbed on mass m of the adsorbent at pressure P. K and n are constants which dependent on the nature of the adsorbent and the gas at a particular temperature. The relationship is generally represented in the form of a curve where mass of the gas adsorbed per gram of the adsorbent is plotted against pressure. These curves indicate that at a fixed pressure there is a decrease in physical adsorption with increasing temperature. These curves always seem to approach saturation at high pressure. Okay, we have derived this relation. Now we will see the curves. Okay, let us see the curves, all of you. See, once observe this diagram, all of you, in your textbook. My thumb is there, na? What are the temperatures they mentioned? 195 Kelvin, 244 Kelvin, 273. Okay, let us see. First, on y-axis we have taken x by m. On x-axis we have taken pressure. Okay, this curve is drawn at constant temperature 195 Kelvin. Okay, so we got this curve like this. This one, student A is doing the experiment. This is done by student A. Next, I am the student, another room. Student B, he took another room. Temperature is different. Actually, till this process is going on, temperature is constant for A. As long as B is investigating, temperature is constant. Don't think that from here to here temperature is changed. Till this process, when x by m is drawn at curve pressure P, temperature is constant for A. As long as A is going on, temperature is constant. Next, 244 Kelvin. X by m on y-axis, P on x-axis. Next, another boy or student, he is investigating same curve at temperature 273 Kelvin. Three students, they are doing experiments at different temperatures. As long as A is going on, temperature is 195 Kelvin. As long as B is going on, temperature is 244 Kelvin. As long as C is going on, temperature is 273. All these three curves, they have drawn in one curve only. They combined. So, in the textbook, they have mentioned like this: 244 Kelvin, 273 Kelvin. Meaning, at higher temperature, the curve is happened at low. Less amount of x by m. Less amount of x by m adsorbed onto the solid, but when pressure increases, x by m also increases. Observe the curves, temperature effect. Temperature is increased, curve decreased. Meaning, when temperature increases, physisorption decreases. So initially at 195 Kelvin, another room 244 Kelvin, another room 273. All the three curves they have drawn at same diagram. They have drawn at same diagram. Is it correct? Okay, now this is the curve happened at 195 Kelvin at low temperature. When another person observed at high temperature, this curve is happened at low. See, like this it will be. That means amount of gas adsorbed on unit mass increases only when P increases. When P increases, amount of gas adsorbed also increases only. But temperature is low, that increase is very high. When temperature is high, that increase is low. Increase is low. Next, further increase in temperature. Further, it is going to be affected. These are the curves which are called adsorption isotherms, which was given by Freundlich. These are all called Freundlich adsorption isotherms. Okay, the validity of Freundlich isotherm can be verified by plotting log x by m on y-axis and log p on x-axis. Okay, correctly till this much extent we have completed 5.2 up to this graph. Okay, next Next graph onwards as well as little bit is there explanation and adsorption from solution phase, applications of adsorption we will see in next class, and we will start with colloids. Okay ma? That is about today's class. I hope you are very much clear about comparison between physisorption and chemisorption, as well as what are these Freundlich adsorption isotherms. Okay ma? That is about today's class. Hardly 8 periods, 7 or 8 periods we will complete the surface chemistry. Okay, 7 or 8 periods we will complete the P block, 7 or 8 periods we will complete the D and F block. Like that, by September 25th, this month September 25th we will complete the portion. Okay ma? That is my plan. Okay, this is about today's class. That is, I hope you understood ma. See, when pressure is increased, amount of gas adsorbed also increases only according to Le Chatelet principle. See, this is the closed container, this is solid, here we have gas. When pressure increases, more amount of gas molecules are going to be adsorbed. Okay, then adsorption also increases only. When pressure increases, adsorption also increases. Amount of gas on 1 gram of unit gram of adsorbent increases. But when temperature is affected, what happened to the curve? This much. In one curve itself we have seen. Okay ma? If you have a little bit doubt, just inform to me about this curve. Once I will explain, after that we will continue in next class. That is about today's class. Okay, thank you all of you. Have a nice day.